Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. Let's bring in our audio audience. Welcome, audio audience. This is the Black Alert segment of the Fire Zone. Welcome. Brothers and sisters, we're going to talk about the God pressure analysis. This is a very important subject, but you need to understand it. Now, we're taught by Elijah about self-creation, the original man is the maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. What does that mean? Maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. We're taught that about this atom of life, the thought travels at 24 billion miles per second. What does all that mean? Some of you may not be aware of this, but Elijah Muhammad also taught that Master Muhammad is a made God. What does that mean? He said that the original God, right? He says that he's always present, but he's always hidden. He's been hidden for 76 trillion years. He doesn't manifest himself to the public. But he said he would do it in this time. During this time, he would manifest himself. But he stays hidden. He also said there's 24 scientists, right, that are gods, lesser gods, if you will. Then he had the God. When I said he stays hidden, he's the 25th, right? And he's the one that certifies what the other ones do. So when they write history, he has to make the final word on it, right? He has to certify it. So we talk about all these different things. And then the angels, they're a lower level than that. That's the general population. If you're talking about just original people, that's before there was any other people. So we told these things, well, how do you put these things together? See? So we're going to talk about some of these things and try to bring them into perspective for you. Those who've been studying pressure, right? This should be somewhat easy for you to follow. For the audio audience, you're not going to follow some of this because we're showing graphics here, but we do give the audio, the video link, so you can refer back to it later. Okay, let's move into it. The God pressure analysis. Okay. The universe. Okay. We have the outer and inner. Pressure, you have the outer and inner. So you have to have both. Otherwise you have nothing. So where we see the white there, that represents the outer universe. And it's full extension. So it expands and contracts like a heart beating. That's what the universe does. It's always done it, always will do it. There was never a beginning. There'll never be an end. I know it's hard for people to follow. I mean, it's a difficult thing to say, well, how come it never had a beginning? Well, it never did. That's one of those mathematical things that is difficult to comprehend. Because, well, how could nothing have been a beginning? Well, if there was a beginning, there wouldn't have been a time anyway, because if there was a beginning, you have to ask, well, what started the beginning, right? If you say it was a beginning, then you have to say, what started the beginning? And then you have to say, what started that? And then what started that? And you write back in circles all over again, right? So there was no beginning. It's always been like that, always be like that. I know it's difficult to comprehend. In fact, you really can't comprehend it. You can just accept it. Because it's been like that. I mean, There's no time frame. You can't say a trillion years, or a trillion times trillion years, or a billion times trillion years, or trillion times 3 years. You can't. First of all, there wasn't no sun to measure time in that fashion. And third of all, it doesn't matter because they've always been here, always will be here. There's no, you can't. There's no measure of time. It's just infinity. Infinity is a difficult concept for the human mind to understand, but we accept it. See. And the only thing that's difficult to understand is that this constantly repeats itself over and over again. So the thing what I'm saying to you right now has been repeated quadrillion of times. I mean, forever. It's always been like this. Always been like this because the universe just repeats itself constantly over and over and over again. So someone asked me, well, can't we change it? Well, you can, but the problem is that you have to yourself. You have to see questions. There's difficult questions to answer here. Because you say, well, can you change this? Can you change? Can you change the way it happens the next time? Well, you'd have to know that why it happened the first time. Because how you know that you're not changing the way you changed it the first time? You wouldn't know. As you somehow you keep a record of every time, and you couldn't do that. You see? You say, well, I'm gonna do something different this time. So it's a very complicated subject. But you're better off just, live with it. That's the way it is. I mean, there's a mathematical principle behind that, right? And it gets back to what I said, where if you say there was a beginning, then you have to say what started the beginning. So the logic of it is that you write back the same thing, that there couldn't have been a beginning. Because if it was, you have to say what started that beginning. And then if you say, well, A started B, or you say B started C, then what started B? See what I'm saying? What started that, what started that, and so forth. So, you understand, so that's the logic of it. So I said the white represents, I'm going to show it in the next slide, represents the universe. What's in the yellow there, right, that represents the earth. Okay? Now, at that time, no, this is Earth. This is the universe that's fully extension, is fully contracted. I mean, fully expanded. That's pretty much where we are right now. That's why it represents the universe, the stars, the constellations, the galaxies, and so forth. That's what that represents, right? All that's energy. That's all energy. See? So that's the universe expands. So all the energy is out there now. Okay? So here's the universe contracting. So it's contracting, and eventually it'll get down to this, where all the energy out there is here. It's the atmosphere of the Earth. It's external, that's the external energy, and the internal energy. Internal energy starts with the Earth. Right? External energy is outside. That's the universe contracting. So when it contracts, the pressure builds, it gets very hot. So it turns into a star. The hottest star, the greatest star ever. So that when the universe has full contraction, it's a star. It's a super hot star. Right? See? Super hot star. There's no water. There's just fire. That's why Bliss said, you made me a fire. See, we was fire at that time. We was fire beings. There was no water. It was just fire. You see? So the eternal, the eternal earth represents the eternal, and then the things that's within the eternal. Okay, so eternal has stratospheres. That means like concentric circles. That means a circle, then a smaller circle, then a smaller circle. Within circles. So within that, in the internal, you have 3 different groups. You have the earth, right? Then you have this, within that, right? We call that external earth, and then we call inside, that's still the pressure. I call it thought earth, but it's really thought pressure. That's why I should change that, right? Because this pressure, that red inside there, that's pressure too. But that pressure is in a smaller place. But remember, the pressure equals when the universe is contracting, right? The external and the internal, they both equal in pressure. Because that's why it stops. Because now the pressure on the inside is equal to the pressure on the outside. So it stops contracting at that point, right? See? So when it stops contracting at that point, you got all that pressure on the outside is equal to the pressure on the inside. We're talking about the earth and everything in the earth, right? Then we got the center of the earth, okay? Now, the idea about pressure is that you have volume, you have temperature, and you have collisions. Now, the smaller the volume, in other words, if you have pressure, and you have pressure, say you have the same pressure in a pint, in a gallon jar, and a pint jar. The same pressure in both of them, right? Now put it this way. Yeah, same pressure, but the volume is different. But the pressure is the same. The pressure is the same, but the volume is different. Because in a gallon, it's a bigger volume, but in a pint, it's a smaller volume. But the pressure is the same. So what that means is that the atoms in the pint is going to be moved much faster. The temperature is going to be higher than the one in the gallon. Because they both have the same pressure, right? See? Make sure you understand this. In other words, in a gallon, you have just much gas in the gallon as you have in the pint. See? But the pint is going to be, because it's a smaller space, it's going to move around faster. It move around faster. See? So the pressure is going to be as great as the one, but it move around faster, so it can maintain the same pressure that's in the gallon, because it can move around much faster. See? The atoms can move around much faster. That means the temperature is going to be higher. See? The temperature is going to be hotter, and it will move faster. So what you're saying is that when you get down to where I'm saying thought earth, well, I probably should say thought pressure there, the atoms move much faster than they are in the external universe. External, right? That's the atmosphere of the universe now, because it turned red, because now it's under tension pressure. The atoms out there is not moving. I don't know if you can see my cursor here, but if you can see this, the atoms here are moving slower than the atoms here. Atoms here move much faster. As you get closer, atoms move much faster, but the pressure is equal to the same. The pressure is the same. But because they're in a higher space, since in a larger space, right, then they move around much slower. But since in a smaller space, the same amount of pressure, they're going to be moving around, atoms move around much faster, because they're in a smaller space. The temperature will be hotter here, temperature will be hottest here, and not as hot here. But the pressure will be equal. See, because it's a smaller space. There's a larger space. So it's still hot, but it's even hotter here. So it's hot here, but it's hotter here, and then even hotter here, more hot, then hotter here, and then intensely hot here. Understand that? So we taught that. We taught that thought travels at 24 billion miles per second, right? So what is happening is that means how fast atoms are moving. So the atoms here doesn't achieve that. The atoms not moving that fast here, but they are moving that fast here. That's why it's called thought. We're in the earth now, but right here in the part of it is pressure so great. I mean, the temperature is so great that atoms achieve the level of thought. See? And then the center, that's why it says thought travels approximately 24,000 miles per second, because some thought travels faster, right? So here in the center is intensely hot. That's the God. He's the very center. So these are gods here. They're thought. They're alive. They're in thought. That's thought, because thought is, pressure is thought. So we have chief thought here. So these are all the people here. But in the center, this was even more. That's the God. He's in the very center. Hope you understand that. So this doesn't achieve thought because it's not moving that fast. This doesn't either. See? But here we have atom of life. So thought is achieved here. And in the center, even a greater thought. So the closer you get to the center, right, the greater thought. More powerful. And that's the God right in the center. And we're told that the God, right, he stays hidden. He hides himself in the public. He's there all the time. But he hides himself in the public, right? See? But he's in control. He hides himself in the public. But what we have is we have, and I'm going to show it in the next slide there. What we have is there's 24 scientists. They're gods. And then you have the angels. See, they're in this group here. See the little white, the white around the black there? Okay, that would be the scientists. And then out here, when the red here, that would be the angels. So in the black, that would be the God. The scientists, that white little thing around it. So, and then out here would be the angels. See? So 24 scientists, the God in the center, then the angels around. Because they've achieved thought. See? And then out here, this is the physical earth. See, I want to make a cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. So the thing you must understand here is that if this is thought here, right here, remember this thought here is equal to the pressure of this. Because all these equal same pressure. All this is equal to the pressure of this. This inside here is equal to the pressure of this. But this is achieved thought. That means this thought and this is pressure, but they both are equal. So that means, but this is thought here. That means it is fully equal to the total universe. Because universe is totally equal to the universe. So that means it understands the universe. God of the universe. Maker, owner, the creator of planet Earth, God of the universe. Because here it is, they're making the earth, because it's one star at this point. This one star. Hot. See? But we're in the center of the earth. See? So we're going to give earth form. We're going to show that. Right? So maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, we owns it. Right? Cream, what does cream? Cream rises from the center to the top. To the bottom to the top. So this is the bottom of the earth. Right? Because you look at in a circle, this would be the bottom. And we will eventually rise to the top. See, on the surface. That's what it means. Maker, owner, cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. You ain't getting Farrakhan teaching this because he don't know, he have no idea what I'm talking about here. See, because he's talking about some mystery God, some originator who's 76 trillion years dead. But the seed of the originator, that center right here, he passes on. He's still always here. He passed that seed on. So you have someone here that is the direct seed of that. You also have the direct seed of these scientists. And you got other ones that direct seed these angels. That's the original people. See? Then you got the scientists, direct seed of those scientists. Because seed passed on through the, right? And then you got to see that this one seed, right, this is only one in the center here. And you got one that seed passes on. So that he's always present. And one of the reasons why that is, because the universe contracts and expands, right? Things change. That's why we write history every 25,000 years. Approximately 25,000 years, between 24 and 25,000 years. But time change. So at that time, one of the scientists step up because he's a scientist for that time. He's a scientist for that time period. See, he steps up. He's the God for that time period. He's the God for that time period. See, but a lot of the person in person, right? He's always present. He just don't make himself known, right, to the public. But he makes himself known to the God that's in control at that time, because they always have to sign off. They always have to sign off. He always has to sign off on them. Like I said, he has to sign off every time they write prophecy, right? 25. He has to sign off on it. And whatever they're doing, he has to sign off on it because they have to check with him, sign off on it. They have to sign. He has to sign off on whatever they do. So always check with him. They know who he is. See, but the public don't know who he is. But he said he will reveal himself. Elijah Muhammad said he will reveal himself during this period of time, because of the times. See, he revealed himself to the public. After 76 years, he revealed himself to the public, because that's the nature of the times. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. Let's move on to the next. Now, the earth. This just represents the earth here, right? Earth, and then the center. See, I'm not showing the actual God here, all right? I'm just showing, you know, all life, right? Us, the original nation, because everything came from us. Animals, trees, everything, all that stuff comes from us. I mean, you got hair, that's tree life, pretty much, right? You got skin, that's animal. All that came from us, anyway. So what he's saying is that in the earth, right? Because under intense compression, remember, total pressure of the universe, right? It's a superstar at that point. So we have down here, right? Jewels, the formation of jewels, because under intense pressure, right? But they come a little further. They come a little longer. They're not around at the time that the universe is a star. As the universe as the Earth starts cooling off, then they come into existence. But not existence yet. But the metals are. These are heavy metals. That's why in the Earth, all the metals that universe can produce is in the Earth. The only way that could be is Earth had to be the center of the universe, because the sun cannot produce iron. It cannot produce any metal. Our sun only can produce helium, which is a gas, because it's a small star. But you need gigantic stars to produce iron and tin and metals. You need gigantic stars to do that, because it takes so much pressure to do it. See? So why do we have all those materials here? See, the blientists, this is what I call them blientists, they say, well, all the stars exploded, and when they exploded, right? When they explode, all the stuff in the middle comes out, iron, or tin, all that kind of stuff. So it's blown out in space. So they're saying is that somehow we was in a position where all that metals came together, and because of some kind of gravitational thing, they all came together and formed the Earth, which is bullshit. Because I mean, you know, if you hit the lottery every second for the next 10 trillion years, that'd be more possible than what they're saying. Hit the lottery every second for the next trillion years, that'd be more possible if that happened than what they're talking about. See, because if that was the case, then maybe some metals be missing. See, but we have all of them here in the Earth. Some metals be missing. Then some be more than others, and so forth. So on. It wouldn't, and then it's just impossible. But it happened because the Earth is the actual center of the universe, and all that pressure formed all those metals. That's why we have all of them here. All the metals that's possible is all here on the planet, from uranium to plutonium, all the way to tin and so forth, and aluminum, so forth, iron, whatever. It's all here because it takes intense pressure to produce those metals. See, and then later on, that pressure, as Earth cools off, forms the jewels. See, they're on a higher level. They're not down deeper because it's too hot down there. They're on a higher. So you go deep into the Earth. That's why the Quran said we would use, instead of using tin and iron, we would use gold and silver to build with, because the cavemen only built about maybe 2 or 3 miles into the Earth. They've only been able to dig 2 or 3 miles into the Earth, which is nothing. Which is nothing. It's like if you got a ladder, right, that's 6 feet tall, 6 feet tall ladder, and somebody's go down a quarter of an inch, that's nothing. Quarter of an inch on a 6 feet tall line, a ladder. So it's like a skin scratch, or like a little bump on a pimple. That's as far as they went in Earth. But when you go deeper, the pressure is greater, and then you start finding big jewels, giant-sized jewels. Rubies and sapphires and diamonds. Because we're gonna have big. We're gonna dig deep. We're gonna have all those things. We have a beautiful kingdom made of diamonds. We're gonna use diamonds and rubies and gold and silver to build with. None of this stuff. Iron, we have. It's gonna be beautiful because we can dig further into the earth. All that stuff is there. See, but they can't get They can't get further. Like, but I think 6 at the most. I don't think they get 6 miles. I forget now. But I know they don't go more than 6 miles into the earth. And that's still nothing, because when you dig into the earth, it's 7,965 miles in circumference. I mean, not circumference, but in diameter. That's approximately 8,000 miles. That means it's 4,000 miles to the center. And all they got is like 6 miles out of 4,000. That's nothing. See, because it's 2,000 miles across 2,000 miles across the United States, right? Is that I got that right? Six. No, it's 3,000 miles across the United States. Yes, 3,000 miles across the United States, right? So if you're only traveling like about a mile or 2 miles, you ain't done anything. You could have got 3 miles, you got 2,198 miles to go. You're nothing. And that's like they barely scratched this earth. So like I say, this civilization, the so-called civilization, they have, right? This reality they created, right? It's nothing compared to what what we're going to be able to do. Nothing. See, we're going to get rid of all this, make all things new, come with something totally different, right? Beautiful, fantastic, beyond your imagination. See, and then so we got the jewels on it. They're on the outer side, and the inner side is all the metals. You have to dig deeper to get them. See, they're getting little metals, right? From the top, mostly from volcanoes and stuff blowing up from the center, right? But when you dig deeper, it's tons of metals. Gold, and silver, and uranium, and plutonium. I mean, it's everything, right? And then in the center, right? See, that would be the atom of life. That's where the atom of life was produced. Elijah Muhammad talked about that's where consciousness is, thought. See, but it's not there now. We move to the surface. That's it. Maker, owner, creator, planet, God, universe. So we're the center. But that's where it was way back when Earth was cooling down. See, there wasn't any water or anything. And then what happened is that the God, right? He started the expansion, and when he started the expansion, then you had a strata of gases. The most simplest gas is hydrogen, and then helium, and so forth, until you get to oxygen, and so forth. I think oxygen is six level, right? And the different gases. So what he did was he started to cool the Earth off. See, because the Earth is hot, and we're hot. We're flames of fire at that time, and he takes and put the two gases together, oxygen and hydrogen, and makes water. See, that begins the cooling off process. See, and then from the hydrogen, he was able to make the sun, because the sun is made of hydrogen. The sun is made of hydrogen. Our sun is made of hydrogen, right? But it's the gravitational force, because the sun is like all that produces gravitational force, and the gravitational force is enough for it to produce helium. Our sun can produce helium. That's it. You can't go any higher because it's a small star. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Okay, let me back up here. So, okay. Well, I'm going to talk about something else here. I got to be very careful with this one. Now, we noticed that there's a book that no one could figure out but the Lamb himself. Who was that? See, even the God couldn't do it. The God of this time. We're told that Master Muhammad is a made God. He's a God of this period, this time. Elijah Muhammad taught about that. See, these people walk around here and think they know what Elijah Muhammad taught, and they don't know. See, he put stuff in the book, but everything's not in those books. See, because I sat down and listened to him. I was there. Everything is not in those books. See. So they got this little book thing, they know everything. They don't know nothing. They don't know anything. And even what's in the books, they don't understand that itself. See. So he taught, and I don't think that's in any of the books that Master Muhammad is a made God. Because Mr. Yusuf Shah used to teach on that. He says the original gods are greater. But he said Master Muhammad was prepared. Elijah Muhammad taught about it. He said the body had to be prepared. He said he didn't teach himself. It's his father taught him. And he said his father got the knowledge from other scientists. See? Because the one in the center has complete knowledge. The one around that, white around them, all together, their knowledge together equals his knowledge, but it's separated between all of them. So in other words, like He has the whole alphabet. But each one of those is like an A, a B, a C, a D, E, F. All together, they have the alphabet. All together, they make up the alphabet. But he has the whole alphabet, if you look at it that way, right? So each one of those scientists have certain knowledge in a certain area, right? But he has all of it. See? So that's why I said there's 24 scientists, but when they write, they get together, they have to get together and write history. See? But they only see that perspective. And this one sinner sees the whole thing. That says, Allah is he who comprehends all vision, but vision comprehends him not. See, he comprehends the whole thing. See? But the whole thing don't comprehend him. And Elijah Muhammad used to say that, he says that he could tune in on other scientists, but the scientists couldn't tune in on him. See? So he was different. See? So he's not alive now, but he passed a seed on, and that seed is still him. So the seed of the original God is on the scene right now. The seed of all the scientists on the scene right now, right? They're alive, but they're the seed. They're not the original one. They're the seed. They have the same characteristics, the same attributes of, because they're the seed. Okay? Like the original nation is the seed of the angels. Understand? See? But they've been raised to gods. Okay. So, we told that this book, the only one that could solve this book, only one could fix this book out was the Lamb. Not even the God could do it. No one in heavens or the earth or on the earth. And then we're also told, right, that Michael or Farah is the one who's going to deliver us, right? But he's not the one that determines who goes. See, the Lamb has to sign off on it because he has to use it. He has to sign off because he signs off on it because he only take the one that the Lamb says to take. See, that's why you have the two. You have the God of the times, because he's the God of the times. He's the God of this time. Make no mistake. He's the God of this time. He's in control, right? Right? But they always have to check back with that first one that keeps in the background. The God of the time knows who he is, right? And but he's the one that certifies whatever that God does. That's what Elijah Muhammad's teaching. That's what this is saying here. See, I'm trying to make the perspective for you. See, so you understand. So both be present and revealed, because all during the history, only the God of the times is the one that is revealed. That's the one that's the public. He's revealed to the public. He's the one that everybody responds to, because he's the God of the time. Because remember, times change, and each one of sides have their perspective, and certain perspectives are required for certain times. So he has a perspective for that time. See, Master Muhammad has a perspective for this time. See, and then when time changed, another God comes with his perspective, because his perspective is required for that particular time. That's why I have different scriptures. Like the Quran was required for that time, but its only value right now is from recital. I mean, there's wisdom in it, but it's not for this period of time. See? So the God for that particular time has perspective, right, for that time, and that's the one that steps forward because he's the appropriate one for that particular time. See? But the center, the supreme one, right? He's always present, and the God knows he is. He knows he is, but he keeps himself hidden because he stays in the background. Because the God, for that perspective, that's the one that steps forward. See, but you always have to check back with supreme being, right? See, to certify what he's doing. See, now. Yaqub was one of the scientists. See, for that perspective, for that time. Because he had to do a certain thing, he had a certain perspective, and he did it to produce someone that will rule for this period of time, for that period, for 6,000 years, because of energy deprivation. So he had the perspective for that. So he stepped forward. Elijah Muhammad never said it was evil or anything like that. He was a science for that. Now what he created, right, was evil, but the point is, It depends on your perspective again, right? Because you say, well, dirty water is bad, but if you have no water, dirty water is not bad, it's good. It's your perspective. See, once clean water comes on, then you say, yeah, bad water is evil, it's bad. But once you don't have any water but dirty water, it's not bad. It keeps you alive. It's good. But when clean water comes on the scene, then relative to that, it's bad. We need to start understanding things, brothers and sisters, start looking. Because right now we've been taught to think very analytical, very simplistic, and we don't understand anything. See, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit in a minute when I go into the plagues part of this. See, because we need to start thinking mathematically, start to understand how things work. That's why I'm trying to teach you these things, because this is just mathematics right here I'm showing you. And it just makes perfect sense if you understand how pressure works. And pressure is our reality. See? And so it puts in perspective what Elijah Muhammad was telling us. Because he said the 24 scientists, right? When do they rule? They rule at some point in time, right? They're scientists. They're the gods that rule at particular times. But they always have checked back with the main god to certify. See? So who decides who leaves here? Is Master Prophet Muhammad the one who decides to leave here? Or does someone else decide who leaves here? Because he only takes, he's like the conductor on the plane. He only takes the people that have tickets from the ticket master. And you have to get the ticket from the ticket master, because the conductor just takes who has the tickets, and they have to get it from the ticket master. So I'm revealing things now that I've never revealed before. Because we're at that point now, we're very close. See? And our people are going to start waking up to this. But it has to be out there for them to wake up to it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Now we're going to move into these plagues. I'm going to talk about this briefly. Right? I keep talking about this subject. I want to talk. I said I was going to try to give one presentation, right? But then I said I think I'm going to break it up into parts because it's too complex. And I was very careful how I present it, because this is on the horizons, and it's going to affect you directly. A time of unprecedented trouble. Because those plagues represent the Armageddon. The 9 plagues, there's been 10 altogether. The ones already took off. 1619 to 2019, Abrahamic covenant, 400 years. That's what it says. 16, that's the official record. 1619 to 2019, 400 years. Then a plague would come that would kill the firstborn, which is the same thing the elderly would pass over you. That would be beginning. That would be set the stage for the 9 plagues that's going to be Armageddon. That came in right on time, 2020, right? It's killing the elderly. It's passing over you. And he said, oh no, it's killing us like flies. Well, that's a lie, because all you got to do is go Google the World Health Organization. They put out a paper about a month or so ago saying that they didn't understand why Black Africa was not being affected by this plague. And so neither was Haiti. Any place where Black folks lived, mostly Black folks were, they was not affected by it. So, but we was dropping like flies for some reason. It was a lie, because we were not. But the demons might have been, and for those of you who don't know what a demon is, that's slave masters, black-faced children. That's his seed, so they're affected by it. See? But they ain't us. See? And it says half of the black population in America are demons. So we're going to see that here. So, and it says, if you understand this, when in chapter 18 it says Babylon, which is America, it says in one day, that means 1 year, all her plagues going to hit her. All this stuff happened all at once. And I want you to understand, we're talking about these plagues. See, it gives you like a sequence, but no, it doesn't happen like that. Some of these things happen simultaneously. All these things be happening at once. It's not going to be like, this happened on Monday, this happened Tuesday, this happened Wednesday, Thursday. It presents it like that, but that's not the way it happens. See, some of these things be happening all at the same time. That's why it says, get out. It says, get out of her, out of my people. That's what we're teaching you, brothers, since trying to warn you to get out. Get out. But you're going to get a better warning in a few minutes. See, this gospel or this angel will be taught in all the world, then it will come. So you're going to get another warning, a louder one than this, a universal one they can't suppress. You're going to get it. Yeah, but when you get it, it may be, for some of you, it's going to be like, see, Hopefully some of you wake up before that point, because at that point it's going to be in a heat of battle. See? And if you're wise, then you're going to be prepared before that happens. But you're going to get another warning. More intense than this one. Okay, it said the first plague is blood. Let me make a move. Make a change here, brothers and sisters. Okay, the first plague is blood. Right? Now what's going on here? See? Let me see, have blood there. See? This is the angel key. So those you audio version, you're not going to see this. If you look at the key, we're going to give you the link to the visual, right? If you don't understand the angel key, this angel key here, then you still have problems. But we have people that will teach you the angel. They're well qualified to teach you angel key, how to read it, right? So you contact them and they will let you know. Okay, so it says blood. They're talking about this right here. This is the war. This is the war that's getting ready to take place in the Middle East, because that's going to trigger the 9 plagues. The war is going. This not this Ukraine and Russian thing. That's in the category of wars and rumors of wars. That's in that category. See, no, the war of Armageddon, right? See, because everybody's nervous now. The war of Armageddon will not start until the war breaks out in the Middle East. That's what's going to trigger it. See, and so we see where the rod down there. That represents the Shia. Iran and Syria, right? They had the bottom of the nation now. They just got finished. You know, that they was under JCOP. That's another story. I'm not going to try and explain to chapter 11. But the thing is that we have to see the next chapter to understand this one. Let's go next chapter here. See here? That's the war. And America's defeated. America, Britain, and false Israel is defeated in that war. See? And so that's what it means. Because now they're bitter. It's that blood that represents bitterness. They're bitter. Because first of all, they got defeated, and it's going to become clear, right, that something's wrong. That we're in the end times, and America just got defeated dramatically. How does that happen? See? And it said mass Muhammad are behind this, but they can't tell American public that. See, right now they're admitting that those so-called UFOs, they admit, if you've been watching news lately, they admitted that they're there. And they say they're all around, all over the place right now. They're saying they're all over the place right now. And people are starting to see them. And this is the government admitting this, so just Google it. I ain't make sense. The government actually admitting this. And they say they're around all their nuclear sites. And it says people are being significantly burned and all that kind of stuff when these things come around, and they're neutralizing their nuclear sites. In other words, they come around with all their nuclear sites, and all of a sudden things don't work. I told you, there's not going to be a nuclear war. Master Muhammad is not going to allow that to happen. When they go to pull that trigger, it's going to be blanks. America will be nuked, but it will not be a nuclear war. He said, how's that happen? It's like saying things like me and you get in a fight, and we slug, and both of us, throwing down, right? That's a fight. But if I'm just whooping your ass and you ain't fighting back, that's a drag, that's a knockout. That's a beat down. See? So America is going to be nuked. See? It's the only place probably will be nuked. See? But there will not be a nuclear war. Because America is going to be burned down so thoroughly that no one will be able to live here for like, say, 20,000 years. See, the radiation and everything else. Because we're going to totally wipe this place clean. I mean, because this place is messed up. See, I got the blood of our ancestors here. It's soaked with swine. This place is totally hateful of God. God hates this place. See, so let's get the hell out of here. So people are going to be very bitter when that happens, because now things starting to come into focus, right? The end times is coming. Is like 5D now, HD, right? 5G, right? And people become very bitter. And on top of that, the demons, the black Christians, right? They're going to turn against America. They're going to turn against America. They're going to turn against that war. See? Because at this point, when that happens, they get kicked out. They're going to immediately go to war in Europe. And the black Christians, right, who are demons, right, the demon ones, they're going to be totally against America. They're going to be totally against that war. They're going to be totally against it. And there's going to be big confrontation between American government and the black Christians. See? Those are the demons. There'll be a big total conflict between them two. See? So at this point right here, see, that's when America's kicked out and Britain is kicked out. At that point, Suleiman, that's when he comes to the Nation of Islam and he casts out Farrakhan and his demons. See? And that's time he has the bullhorn to warn you about the desolation of abomination of desolation. All this happened at the same time. See? Because now this gospel is teaching all the world, then it will come. And this will be a 1 year period, all this will be happening. And it's about to happen right now. It's about to be triggered. Because we see that war in the Middle East is about to happen any day now. I told you, they're not going back to JCPOA. And America's already stated that if they don't go back, there's going to be war. America's made that clear. And false Israel says there's going to be a war anyway. They've already took and allocated money publicly, not secretly, over $2 billion just to attack Iran. And then they're doing drills and practice and everything else with their planes. And they're making agreements with all the Arab countries so they can fly over them to get to Iran. So we know it's going to be a war there and it could be triggered any day, right? And when it triggers, this is going to be the result of it. They don't understand the result, but this will be the result of it. They will lose. America and Britain will be kicked out and leave false Israel. That's what we're talking about, the eagle there, the false Israel. They're taken and they're under siege. They're isolated and under siege, right? Surrounded by surrounded by Iran and Syria. And this comes back to, let's go to the next page here. No, that's not it right here. Okay. But we see that in subsequent slides. But that point, that's where false Israel is surrounded by armies. And brothers and sisters, the things I'm telling you, you can easily prove. And there's some things that are so clear. It says, read it. It says, when Jerusalem is surrounded by armies. Who is Jerusalem? That's false Israel. That's their capital. They control it. The Arabs don't control it. They control it. So when you see Jerusalem, they're telling you that's true seed of Abraham. Why does everybody claim to be seed of Abraham? Why do the Jews complain to be seed of Abraham? Why the Arabs, they are the seed of Abraham, but they're of Ishmael, the oldest son, but not the son blessed by God. Isaac was the one blessed by God because he was Sarah's son. So he was the one got the inheritance. He was Joseph. But Ishmael thought he should have because he's the oldest son, but he was the son by Abraham's maid. See? So they are the seed of Abraham, but they don't have the inheritance. But they claiming they do have the inheritance because they sitting on the land, they sitting on our language, they sitting on our holy places. So they have all of that. And they say 9/10 possession. Possession is 9/10 of the law. So in other words, that must be them, right? So they claim to be seed of Abraham, which they do have a legitimate claim, but they're not the inheritors. False Israel claim to be, and they're not. They're guilty of identity theft. And then you got the Europeans, they claiming they're spiritual seed of Abraham. So why is everybody claiming to be the seed of Abraham? And yet we're the true seed of Abraham, and they disregard us altogether. So now, all these things are happening all at once. America and Britain just got kicked out. See? And now we're talking about the frogs. See? Man, the first plague was blood. So they're bitter now. That's first. They was bitter. All this happened at the same time. They're bitter. See? And there's strife. There's contention. See? Because now they know what's going on. They're starting to see what's happening. See? And you got a lot of business in America. How they got? Because that wasn't supposed to happen. See? And then false Israel being taken out. That definitely ain't supposed to happen. But America wasn't supposed to be kicked out of the Middle East so dramatically like that. And a lot of blood would be spilled in that process. When they kicked out, it's going to be very bloody. Very bloody. They're not going to just walk out. They're going to be very bloody. That battle's going to be very bloody. Okay. Then the frogs. Who are the frogs? Again, that's the black Christians, the demons. See? because that's part of the plague. Because now remember, they in contention with America. They turn against America, turn against America's foreign policy. They're bitter, right? And then all these blacks that was over there helping, they got slaughtered. See? So they're very bitter, but they're all over the place. They're all over the place. So they causing havoc in America, in every aspect of America. These demons, the preachers, the politicians, the Hollywood stars, the athletes, they in every aspect of America. The newscasters and everything else, they're in every aspect. See? And now they're against America. They're causing all kinds of confusion and stuff, and America's against them because they're against American policy and stuff. So you know, got a tension between the two. See, they call, oh, you're not patriotic, because they're going to be against all the American policy and everything else. When they see it, because all the nations, everybody's going to see, when they get thrown out of the Middle East, all the nations going to see that. And they're going to see that America's gone. See, America is weak. America's in decline. I mean, they free fall. And everybody's going to abandon them, even the demons. See, it says all her lovers will abandon her. Babylon, all her lovers will abandon her. And that's what it's talking about this. So the frogs. So that's a big problem for America, because now they're all against them, and they want to round them all up now because they got this conflict between them, and that was one of the dangers. If you read about Exodus, that was one of the dangers. One of the dangers is that they feared, because that's why they was trying to eradicate the children of Israel, the true trees, Abraham, trying to eradicate us, because one of their fears was that war might break out, and they would help the enemy and flee the country. So they think they're going to take, because now remember, at this point, America is at war. They got kicked out of the Middle East, but they immediately go to war in Europe. Immediately. And they're going to want these blacks to help them. These blacks won't do it. See, the Christian blacks won't do it. And the Islamic blacks, they definitely ain't doing it. But they won't do it. See? So now they're trying to round them up. And they're everywhere, though. So it's a plague. It's a plague it's a big confrontation between black and white. It's the beginning of a black and white war in America. That's the frogs. Okay. So this stuff is going to affect you directly. So they're at war over there and they're at war over here. See? So you got a race war going on here in America now. That's the beginnings of it. You see, that's the beginning. That ain't it. That's the beginning of it. Because you got all this strife and like I said, everywhere. And so they cause havoc all over the country because they affect then every part of the aspect of the country. See? This during time, and during this time, false Israel was under siege. See? And you got evangelicals, they holding their breath because they believe when this false Israel goes under siege, that means that's time Jesus is going to return. And it's going to save them just in a neck of time. See? And they're going to get rid of all the Arabs and everybody else. And they're holding their breath. They expect this to happen. It hasn't happened yet. And then Israel, false Israel, under siege, right? And now this is going to take a while. The siege is going to last maybe a month or so because they're not going to be able to bring any food in or food out. You see? And many that could escape have already escaped. So that means they're going to be starving. So there's going to be cannibalism going to be going on there. See, that's what I'm saying. Frogs. And this gets back to says a mother-in-law against daughter-in-law and daughter-in-law against mother-in-law. So they can understand that verse, but that's what we're talking about here. So in America and its former loyal black demons, black-faced devils, right? Now they're in contention with each other. See, they're against America's policy and everything else. They want to stay here in America, right? See, they don't want to leave, but there's conflict between the two. Open conflict. See, they would say Babylon became a home of demons, unclean birds. See what I'm saying? Unclean spirits. They're talking about. See? That's the still there? Okay, so that's still the frogs. Okay, this is what I was talking about, Jerusalem surrounded by armies. See? That's what it's talking about right there. And that should tell you right there, because it says, who controls Jerusalem? Jerusalem is capital of who? That right there should wake you up, brother and sister, because Jerusalem is the capital of false Israel. It says when they surrounded by armies, it didn't say that their redemption is nigh, that Jesus is going to come and save them, that their salvation is nigh, their deliverance is nigh. It says, no, their destruction is nigh. Their destruction is about to happen. That means they're going to be destroyed. That means they're telling you right there, they're not the true seed of Abraham. That's another way of telling you that. They're not the true seed of Abraham, because they can't be destroyed if they were. When they return, they'll be returned. They will never be destroyed again once they return. That's the prophecy. See? But they are destroyed. It says they will be destroyed. It says when Jerusalem is surrounded by armies, their destruction, they're telling you right there, they're not the true seed of Abraham, because they couldn't be destroyed. So they're telling you, right? So they're surrounded by armies. Jerusalem is not controlled by the Arabs, it's controlled by them. See? All this happened within a 1 year period. See? So they still in the siege now. They ain't taken out yet. They starving over there. So maybe a month in, 2 months, the food, nothing, right? They're starving, they can't have food come in, whatever, right? See? They got contention within because you got a whole Arab community that's inside there that's going to turn on them. And then gnat's lice. See? Remember, all this happened at the same time. Well, that represents Europe. Now, I've been saying for years, right, that this whole thing is be circling around energy. And now they tell you that's what they're worrying about right now. See, energy over there, fuel, oil. That's what I said. And now it's saying, the way I explained it, right, I said that when America and Britain and false Israel was defeated, that means the Shia, Iran, and Syria have total control of the Middle East. Because that's the dragon. Dragon represents House of Saud, the House of Saud, and they're really Indians. And Angel tells they're really Indians. I'm not going into that detail of that. They pretend to be Arabs. Anyway, not even Muslim. But the thing is that now the Shia has total control of Arabia, all of it. And Europe is totally dependent upon European oil and Russian oil. And now with this conflict with Ukraine, right? They're trying to cut Europe off of Russian oil. And Germany and France don't want to go along with that because they're trying to sanction them to stop them using their oil. But what are they going to do? Because they're not at that point. They're not going to be able to use oil from the Middle East because the Iranians and Syrians cut them off. Why? Because they was helping in that war when they had that war they just fought. So they cut them off. So now they have only access to oil they have is Russia. I've been saying it for years. See. So, and now you see it coming in full force. So now but now America's at war over there. Now, it says at that point, the EU, not Russia, but the EU economy collapses. Why? Because they don't have any reserves, all is gone. And the little reserves they do have, they're using up right now, right? And the thing is, you see how it's falling in the focus, brothers and sisters? And the reserves that America has, they're depleting them because Biden says he's going to give 1 million barrels of oil from the reserves a day. That means he's depleting them. So when this war breaks out, they're going to have very little reserves, right? And they're not going to have any access from the Middle East, and the Europeans won't have any reserves. So therefore, but Europe totally collapses, and the only way they can survive, they need to get oil, and the only way they can get it from is from Russia. Because America, they're going to have any reserve to give them, and remember, at war, America's at war at this period of time. They're at war with Russia. See? So they can't give Europe, because they don't have reserves anyway, and if they did, they have to ship it through the water, and it takes a long time to get, and these people will be starving. It may even be in wintertime. These people are going to be cold, they don't have no energy, the whole economy is shut down, right? And they can't get anything from the Middle East. Only person they can get it from in time, right, in a meaningful time, is from Russia. So they're going to turn to Russia instead of against Russia, against America. So America is going to be at war with their friends, NATO, and all of them are going to turn on America because they're going to need oil fuel, which America's not going to be able to give them even if they wanted to, because they're depleting their reserves anyway. If they did, even if they wasn't depleting their reserve, it still takes so long to send by ship over there. and then that could be there could be intervention because Russia could stop it. I mean, if they're at war with Russia, Russia wouldn't allow the shipments of oil come through there. So the only way they can get it is from NATO and Europe. The only way they can get it from Russia, unless they're going to side Russia against America. That's the lice. So America's at war. Now they're betrayed by their friends, and now America's in the situation they thought they was putting Russia in and backfired. Because they want everybody to attack Russia, but now everybody's attacking America and Britain. See, that's what they tell you. They're trying to figure out how to get people off of Russian oil. See, so it's all they focus on that right now. That's what I've been telling you for years. That's what's going to happen. See, so now America's over there, right? And now they got strife in here with the blacks, especially the demons, the Christian demons. They need them to go to war, but they don't want. They need back in this. So now you got to fight between them because they're at war over there, and they need to draft people. And they're going to draft the sisters too, because now they can draft them, right? Because these white women are talking, yeah, we need to have equal rights for women in the military, so now they can draft the sisters. Boy, Farrakhan really played the game on y'all dumbasses. But he did it. He played a dumb thing, because he got you set up. Because first of all, if you was in the Nation of Islam, you was exempt from the draft anyway, because of that Ali thing. But Farrakhan said, no, man, if America gets a fight, we're gonna fight for America. We own America. I mean, America belongs to us. And a lot of his followers are in the army. So now you don't have no case about not fighting in this war. They are going to draft you. He set you up for that. Elijah Muhammad set you up so you wouldn't have that situation. And then Farrakhan just reversed it. So they're going to start be drafting people, and blacks going to start fighting against that one. Because first of all, they turned against America. They didn't want to support it. And now America's trying to draft them to come over there and help fight. See? All at the same time, false Israel under siege. And all this is going on. See? So now America's surrounded in Europe by everybody. France and Germany's fighting against them. Everybody's fighting against them. They have no friends or allies. Said all your lovers will flee from you. So America, now they need these blacks help them, and the blacks don't want to do it. See? They're resisting. See the contention over here, and the problem over there, and they're getting their ass kicked over there. See? And then they're going to get something, so they're going to start rounding up blacks in concentration camps, right? See? This is going to happen a little deeper into it, but they're going to start rounding up, and then promise them, we're going to give you land, we're going to give you 6 spades, we're going to give you reparations, we're going to give you everything. Just help us fight this war. See, and a lot of blacks gonna go over to their deaths, but mostly demons. A lot of Negro butts can go over too. So that's the it says third, but it's happened in accord with all the rest of them. Let me see if I can show you this here. No, I'll leave it like that. Okay. Well, maybe. See, all this happened pretty much simultaneously, even though it shows the first plague, second plague, whatever. It happened pretty much simultaneously. All this happened about the same time, and all within 1 year period. No. Okay, let me get back where I was. The blood. That's the frogs. Jerusalem sound about armies. And the lice. That's what the lice is. See? The lice all in you're affected by it. The lice is. See? Then Europe is Europe, not Russia. So you got Eastern Europe and Western Europe, 2 aspects of the so-called Roman Empire. and then down you had the two legs, right? Two legs of iron. So we're talking about Eastern, Western Europe, France, Germany, right? See, Britain is not Europe. Britain is island. They call it British Isles. The islands off the coast of Europe, right? So, and like I said, Europe is under economic collapse at this point, and so therefore they got aside with Russia for fuel. So now they helping Russia take out America. They're all America surrounded. Then they're talking about the fifth, plague and livestock. See, they're talking about our cattle was not killed, but theirs was. That means they're being slaughtered over there, right? In that war, those that go over there, those blacks that buy that BS, they tell them and go over there, get slaughtered. Ours don't, because those under, because at this time, Suleiman, right, has got rid of the demons, thrown them out, clean up them in the eye. That's what says Master of the Covenant would do, come with full of soap, clean it up. And now those in there, they're not being slaughtered because he's protecting them. They don't, but the ones that's out his, this Christian ones, that's, with Massa, the black demons, right? They're being slaughtered over there. That's what it's talking about. So one is and one is not. Because one goes over there in that battle and that slaughter. That's what it is. It's going to be. It's going to be a killing field. See, you go over there. They don't have black fools going over there. That's it. I mean, they're throwing you to the river. I don't go into that detail about that. But they're going over there and they're going to be slaughtered. I'm going to talk about this war in Europe. That's the war of Armageddon. That's what we're talking about right here. And says they'll go by the thousands and come back by the tens. Because it's going to be a slaughterhouse over there. And they're going to have a lot of blacks pulling them, getting them going. A lot of blacks going, a lot of most demon Christian blacks, they're going to run over there, right? They're going to buy the thing, buy the scam. Oh, man, we're going to give you everything now, man. We're going to have freedom, man. You're going to have your own country, man. You're going to have this, you're going to have all that. We're going to give you everything. And a lot of them going to buy it, and they go over there and get slaughtered. Because they ain't going to give it to them anyway. Even if they won, but they're not going to win. I say this affects you directly, brothers and sisters. I keep telling you, this war of Armageddon is going to affect you directly. See, then the boils. See, it's a little more complicated. I don't talk about that too much, right? See, but it's pretty much talking about disease. You see, because hunger, famine, those things bring about disease. See, it brings about disease. See. And it first hits, right, falls Israel, because they're about finished now. They're about finished. They're eating each other and everything else. So it says disease break out there and spreads. See? I'm going to just leave it there. There's more to it than that, but I'm going to leave it there on that one. Now remember, false Israel hasn't gone down yet, right? See, this is the time it says when you see Israel. See, that's the time period you have. It says when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, right? Hold on, brothers and sisters, let me check something here. Got a message here. So it says when you see Israel surrounded by, I mean, you have a time. It says, get out, run, flee. Don't take, when you see surrounded by armies, run, because you got. Well, no, let me back off here. See, at that point, it's talking about the point where they're just about to take down. So you got there because you ain't got there quite yet, right? See, so like I said, all these things happen simultaneously. So I don't want you to think I'm saying this happens after this happens after happen. I'm saying it's happened pretty much simultaneously. You have to put it in perspective. Because when you see Jerusalem surrounded by army, at that point, when you see that, right, that's at the point where they're just about to go down. See, that's a flee. Because at that point, they're telling you, because at that point, it's just about to go down. Right in minutes, within hours or whatever. Well, I think it's in minutes because it says when you see that, right, then flee. So that means they're talking about at the point where they just about to go down. They're about to collapse within minutes. So that's why you got to put everything in perspective. This doesn't happen at the time when they first, when they go into siege. Notice that part, right, when you see the surrounded by armies, because they're surrounded by armies, but at what point when they're surrounded by armies, right, is that talking about? It's talking about that just at that point. You understand? Because you're going to recognize it at that point, just before they go down. Hope you understand. So then to my hell. Now, what does hell represents? Now, at this point, they're in conflict with, you got the blacks in conflict with America. They're in conflict with America. So America's attacking. They're rounding up blacks. They're trying to force them to go over in this fight. Right? See? But all blacks. So, I mean, you got a big African community here. You got a large African community here. They're going to fight back. That's what the hell represents. So America's already in conflict with the demons, the Christian blacks. They're already in conflict with them. See? And there's a race war blooming with them. Right? And so therefore now, the African blacks kick in because they've been attacked also. So now you got a full-fledged race war going on in America. Full-fledged race war going on in America. Full-fledged. See? That, and this also represents the four winds blowing. See? So you got a full-fledged war, race war going on in America. I don't think I said enough about that. And here's the one. And that starts the official organized attack by locusts. So it take 5 months. 5 months. Remember, you got a race war going, right? And you got the locusts, right? Remember this. Remember, I keep saying it's not like this happens, right? See, because this locust, see, this happens during the time when the hail goes. We got a full-fledged race war, and that lasts for 5 months with locusts because they're attacking America. Full-fledged race war. And so it lasts 5 months. And then these are mostly Christian blacks, demons, full-fledged race war. And they're destroyed, they're defeated at the end of 5 months. But 5 months, they can tear this country apart. Take 5 months for the devils to actually put them down. But in the meantime, right, they're still at war with Europe. America's still at war with Europe. Right? And now you got China and India moving in on America. See? And you got the Africans, they're fighting back and they're attacking. They attack America, and also in Britain, they attack Britain. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Happens also in Britain. Okay, this is the one where Britain gets attacked. All this happens almost simultaneously. See, this is the one that drives you out, the last one. So when Britain is going to be so bad, it's going to be a race war there. It's going to be so bad that it's going to destroy the government. It's going to destroy it. Martial law is not going to hold. It's going to destroy the government, just destroy it. It's going to be destroyed as a country. There's going to be no law and order, anything. They're not going to be able to maintain law and order, anything. It's going to be a total jungle, if you will. See, that's why it says America's going to be so burned out by that because they're going to see that that's about to happen here too. See, because it's going to really blow people's minds over here. I mean, all these places are blowing their mind. See, all the places are blowing their mind. See. Now, false Israel hasn't been taken out yet. False Israel hasn't been taken out yet. And all this stuff is going on. See. False Israel hasn't been taken out yet. All these things happen almost simultaneously. That's why it's hard for me to present this, because it's hard to say it because put everything in perspective. Like this gonna happen this time, it's happening because it all happened pretty much simultaneously, but it doesn't happen in the sequence they're telling you because it's not. It almost happened almost over about the same time. See, so this is the one that both drive you out. This is the last one. See, this is one where all the four winds blow. See, this is the one that says this is the firstborn, right? Now you got the firstborn you got the firstborn. You got two aspects of the firstborn. You got one from the sealed Bible, unsealed Bible. The sealed Bible firstborn is one we talk about, so-called COVID. The unsealed one is talking about Britain. See, because Britain was the firstborn, America second. See, Britain was the elder. So in other words, they're taken out. See, and they're taken out mostly by the Africans over there. They're going to tear the country apart, totally destroy it. And there'll be no law and order, anything. See? And that's going to cause all kinds of destruction. Because America's, all these places like atomic bombs exploding. Boom, one after another. Boom, boom, boom. That's what's going to be on their minds. Because if they try to solve this problem, something else happened. Like I said, it says it's like a man running from a lion and running to a bear. Escape the bear, get home, and then a giant snake gets him. Because one thing after another, so all these things happen, these 9 plays, boom, 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 happen most simultaneously. So they try to solve this problem here, this problem, and while the other problem's still going on. So all these things happen, by the time we get to the 9th plague, all this stuff is in motion. All these things are in motion. All these things are happening. See? And so finally, it gets to this point, right, where it's so bad, right, that all the blacks, right, they all come together. They all unite because it's a total war over here and over there, and China, India is moving in. They're moving in on the west coast. That's the goat and Daniel who's come across with our feet touching the land, means to come across the Pacific Ocean from the west. It hits the ram. A ram represents America and Britain. They first take out, because ram had 2 horns. They first take out the first horn, right? As Britain's gone. They take out Britain first, and then they come in, they invade America, right? So you got America getting his ass kicked over in the Middle East. I mean, it's already what Middle East, that sparked the whole thing. They already got kicked out of there. Now they've been devastated over in Europe. Everybody turned against them. They fighting by themselves. All East and West, all the European countries against them, right? Then they're over here, and they got a race war going on here in America, right? For us, Israel is still under siege. See, in Val and the evangelicals, they still got a hope. There's a race war going here, but they still got a hope. Man, Jesus about to come, Jesus about to come. They're still talking that stuff. Jesus about to come, Jesus about to come, because they're going to save false Israel. See the mentality is going on? So they still got that false hope, but they got catch hell all over the place. And then they see China and India coming, their fleets coming towards America for war. So they're at war with China and India. They're definitely Hades. So all this stuff's happening, and their holy hope is, man, Jesus is going to come. He's going to save Israel just for the end, and that's going to save it. So they still holding that hope, but they still in a race war here. They're over the war. They're in this war in Russia and over in Europe. They're getting ass kicked over there. They're in a race of war here. You see? And now they got China, India moving on their ass. See? So at that point, see, this is when the 4 winds blow. And that's the resurrection. All black folks come together then. Because they see, it's all messed up. All black come together. But why they come together? See, they're about to come together. See, the 4 winds all ain't blow yet. They're in the process of blowing. See, they didn't say all the 4 winds blew at one time. They said they all blew at one time. But when all 4 winds blows, right? That's what I'm saying. You got to keep it in perspective. They say, it started at one time. So when they find all 4 winds blow, what happens? See? Now false Israel is about to take down. That's the four winds blowing. See? And that's when it says, that's when he told, flee. Flee. See? Some do. It says flee. Because now false Israel is about to be destroyed. They've been under siege, now they're about to be destroyed. It says flee. Flee. See? So all black folks come together, right? Some of them don't, but for the most part, right? Rest of them that recognize it, right? They flee because it's all, America, they're on attack on America. A lot of them in concentration camps. All this stuff is going on. So they flee. Because this is the point right here where false Israel goes down. They said flee. Four winds blow. Okay. And then, boom, that's when false Israel goes down. That's the flies. That's the fourth plague. See, not in sequence. That's the fourth plague. Flies. Why flies? Because they're everywhere too. It says flies everywhere. See? So that increased the problems in America because remember, it says America became the hiding place or the home, right, of unclean birds, unclean spirits, some of the demons, right? See what I'm saying? So now that's what it's talking about because false Israel goes down, that wasn't supposed to happen, and evangelicals lose their mind. See? Because that's their final hope. Jesus didn't come, like they thought was coming. So now the whole angelical community, right, is devastated. Mind crunch, mind collapse. See? And all the blacks, right, that's around, then they're already on conflict, they're already a race war going, and you still got a lot of blacks sitting around there trying to hold on to massa. See? And they attack them. Wipe them out. See? Because now they're going to realize we true seed Abraham. And all these calamities going on, and they're trying to save their mind because if we the true seed Abraham, that means all this stuff happening to them is that God's attacking them because they're trying to say that this is just a problem they're going through, that God just been them a trial. They're trying to keep that in their mind, that all this stuff happens like a kind of trial. See? But when false Israel goes down, which they said could not happen, that means false Israel was a lie. That means this whole thing was a lie, that God wasn't with them, that we must be a true seed of Abraham, that all this stuff is happening because God is attacking them. And the only way they can save their minds is they got to eradicate us. So they can go back to saying they're the spirit of Abraham. That's the evangelical community. That's the lie they're going to be telling. You got to get rid of those people. They're the ones causing the problem. God is attacking us because of them. They're going to say, God is attacking, they have all these problems because of us. All these problems happen is because of us. Not because we're true to Abraham, because we cursed, right? And we curse people, and God's really attacking us. The only reason why they catch this problem because they got to get rid of us. They got rid of us. God will stop attacking them because they're attacking because of us. Because God's really after us. And the reason why they're getting it is because we're in the middle, we're here, and God's trying to get rid of us. That's where they're going to characterize it. God's trying to get rid of them niggas, right? And we protecting them. Remember? Because they're supposed to be slaves. God says supposed to be slaves, but we gave them freedom and everything else. See, and we did wrong. We shouldn't have did that. Because God hates these people. These people are cursed. And now we catching it because he who curses will be cursed. He who blesses will be cursed. He who blesses will be blessed. Who curses will be cursed. And so he said, we've been blessing these black folks and they should be cursed. Now God is after us. That's where they're going to characterize it. And so all these other black folks, white folks going to come, and if you still sitting around trying to lay back, trying to help be white, because a race war is already going on. I ain't saying all black folks going to be involved in it, but the race war is already going on. You see? And a lot of still hang on with master, so they say, get rid of them. So that race war is going to intensify, not only that, and then those that's laying back, then they will come and cut your throat, because that's what they're going to characterize it. All this happened to them, all this, because remember, they're going to be in total disaster mode. They trying to why is all this happening? You see, well, all this happened to us because of those niggas. We've been protecting them niggas. We shouldn't have been. Let's get rid of them. That's what they're going to characterize it. That's what they're going to characterize it. See, because they're going to know. Otherwise, they got to accept we just true seed Abraham. If they accept that, right, that means they're evil, no good people. They want to hold on to the fact they're good people. And we the bad people. See? Because if they accept the fact we choose Abraham, which is obvious after false Israel goes down, that's a natural conclusion. They don't want to do it because that means they have to accept the fact they're evil, no good people. They commit genocide. They stole this land. They eradicated people. This wasn't the promised land. They brought us over here and they didn't bring us over here slaves. They didn't torment us. They was killing God's seed, Abraham's seed. But no, they were saying, we should have been slaves. So you see what I'm saying? So now they can't have that in their mind because in their mind, we was Ham. We was supposed to be slaves, so they ain't doing nothing to us because we was cursed, right? And America was a promised land, so that wasn't nothing taking that because that was land promised them and getting rid of the owners, Indians, right? Because they was riffraff and they was staying on their land, so they was good people. That's why they keep we good people. But now, if they accepted we see Abraham, that means, oh, we was cursing the wrong people, and we stole this land, and we committed genocide. They don't want to think that way either. So they got to come with this thing. Well, no, God's after us because we helping them niggas. We helping them. We should never let them out of slavery. That's why God's punishing us because God cursed them, and yet we trying to bless who God cursed. That's where they're gonna characterize it. See. That's why they flee. See? So if you're still around, you still hang around and flee. And that's when all black folks come together. See, that's all come together up here. But now we got the demons and the saints. NOI represents the saints. You got 144,000, that's the elect. You got the demons. Aaron, that's Farrakhan. He's the leader. Legion. Louis Eugene Grimes, NOI. And so now we got a war between us and them. That's what's talking about Aaron. And when when Joshua, which is Jesus, same name, just different languages, and Moses returned, right? Joshua was in control. And what they had to separate Joshua's people from Joshua's people from Farrakhan's people, or Suleiman's people from Farrakhan's people, and they went to war and they destroyed all Aaron's people. They kicked them out. That's what it said. The harvest come, and then you would separate the wheat from the chaff. And then you throw the chaff back in, that's what happens. So now they go to war with each other because the demons, they're going to try to take over the whole thing. So they try to do the same thing during so-called integration. They want try to convince us to go along with them. See, because they try to tell us, no, stay here, man. We can still work out, master. We can still work it out with him. Let's help fight. They're going to try to convince us to convince master that we all work together. And we ain't buying it because we know better. So they still trying to hold on to master. See, even though they're at war, they still want to stay here. See, they want. Let's try to compromise. Let's make a deal. Let's have a ceasefire. Let's convince master we're gonna work with them. See, that's their position. So hell with that. You stay with master. We getting the hell out of here. That's what it means. Every eye will see him, because if you read Angel Revelation, it says the spirits or the original nation, they represent the seven eyes. That's what I mean. All eyes will see him. Not like some of the T.A. Jakes and all these clouds. Well, Jesus he's gonna circle the sun, so that's how everybody gonna see him. You try to look at the sun lately. Then other people saying, well, he's gonna take him 24 hours to come down. That way the earth have a full circle and they see him. So it's gonna take 24 hours to come out of the sky. All this bullshit. Stop the bullshit, brothers and sisters. Stop the bullshit. There's no bullshit zone. See? And so this point we return home. This point we delivered. This point where we delivered, turn home. See here? Because that means the Africans over here, over there, we're over the Africans and Shia. That means they ain't come over here. That means the elect, they're over there. See? This is Noah's Ark. The waters. See? The waters represents, that's what it said the waters represents a sea of people, sea of humanity, a 200 million man army. Only one can produce a 2 million man army is India and China. That's why you see the waters there. See? And so the ark is flowing against the waters. But the NOI, they're in the waters. They go into a tribulation. That's in Mark. It says when they left, they wanted to leave with Suleiman or Jesus. They wanted to leave with him. But he said, no, you got to stay back and do some more witnessing because they didn't do what they're supposed to do. But the demons, they got thrown back with Massa to the semen. They got with their devil daddies. I mean, their swine daddies. See? But the NOI, they got to go through tribulation because they allowed themselves to be deceived because they were supposed to build a bridge between Elijah and Suleiman, but instead they built mansions for Lion Farrakhan, son of Addition, who deceived them for 42 years. See? So now they got to go back because a lot of our people are still lost. They're not dead, they're still lost, right? But they wasn't ready to be delivered. That's why it says Michael delivered only those that the Lamb sanctioned. They had the Lamb's approval. See? So he only delivered those who Lamb says to be delivered. He didn't make that decision, the Lamb made that decision. He just provided transportation. See? So he only delivered those. So and says they will be delivered. And then many woke up at the dust at that time, but they woke up to everlasting life, right? See, but that's the NOI because they're gonna, they got to go through tribulation. They weren't delivered. They had to go through tribulation, but if they survived tribulation, then they bought home, and right they accept it, but they got to go through tribulation. You see, that's what it's talking about, brothers and sisters. See, because the rest of our brothers and sisters that wasn't delivered, they got to spend that time. That's what said Daniel. They would be suffering through famine and war and everything else to clean the rest of our people up to prepare them to go home, because they're not ready to go home. The NOI is not ready to go home, and a lot of people are not ready to go home yet, because they ain't in the Lamb's Book of Life yet. They're not been certified. So they got to go through, like you take out the furnace, you put gold in the furnace, and once it's purified, you pull it out, you just look at it, okay, it's certified. But some, the silver, it takes longer, and some of the gold ain't ready either, right? So, oh, this ain't gold, so you got to put it back in. You got to maybe turn the furnace up a little higher. So that's what's going on, brothers and sisters. And I hear the demons down here, right? See, remember, this still going to 5 months thing. So now they have total conflict. See, they're not here with the swine daddies. See, and then the demons are wiped out. They're finally destroyed. See, because they're gonna be at war with each other. See, the demons actually get destroyed. See, just as China and India is embarking on the West Coast, the demons wiped out. They are defeated. We're gone though. And then here comes the flood. That's China and India. See, that's China and India. See, India is represented by the calf, China. That's the flood. They take out all the European countries. America first, after Britain. It's the flood. See, because they represent the earth. See, the ark flowed against the waters, and the flood comes to destroy the earth, European countries. That's what's talking about, brothers. Says that's the flood. So I think I covered everything here. See, I'm trying to really get you to understand these plays, how this stuff works. A lot more to tell you about it, but I think I told you quite a few here that you understand. Like I said, it affects you directly, brothers and sisters. I hope some of you wake up. Help other people. You can help these brothers and sisters that's working on this project, right? Help them to wake up, come in, get with them. Let them teach you the angel. So you can help waking our people up. See? Because everyone that you wake up is good. It's a feather in your cap. Okay, brothers and sisters, that's it. Hope you understand. I'm gonna leave it there. So let me go and check on our audio, brothers and sisters, here for a second. Okay. Okay. Okay, brothers and sisters, this is the Black Alert segment at Fire Zone. Black Alert out. Okay, brothers and sisters, hope you understand. Thank you for listening. Remember, there's a lot of brothers and sisters. We have several brothers and sisters that are perfectly able to bring you up to speed on the angel key, right? So you understand what's going on, how to use that key, how to unlock the scriptures. So let us know. We provide the link to the video for you. That's for audio section. But let's contact us, brothers and sisters, and they'll be more than happy to bring up to speed. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.